A reverse definition, an unexpected definition, is going to be, in the most literal sense, wrong. But that's actually good because when you take the opposite of the original view, you end up coming up with something that can be much more unforgettable. One of the techniques you'll see from a lot of great thinkers, great philosophers, is they will make statements that go exactly against what you expect to hear by either reversing a definition or by taking an assumption that's very deeply held and just turning it on its head. I'm going to show you a couple examples. The first one's from Nietzsche. You've probably heard this quote before: "Love your enemies because they bring out the best in you." Now, we're not taught that you're supposed to love your enemy because he makes you better. Some people say if somebody attacks you, turn the other cheek, fine. But most of us, before Nietzsche, most people wouldn't say that your enemy is something good. There are graceful ways perhaps of handling the enemy, but that doesn't mean we actually prefer the enemy. Nietzsche is saying enemy is more of a friend than your friend almost. Here is a quote from Mark Twain. When we think about reading the news, we think of that as being a good way to get information. That's the classic view of reading newspapers or watching the news. Here's what Mark Twain says: "If you don't read the newspaper, you are uninformed. If you do read the newspaper, you are misinformed." Again, he's just taking the opposite of the standard thing, and that makes this one of his many famous, unforgettable quotes. And this isn't a new thing. This doesn't start with Mark Twain. This started with the Greek sophists. Before Socrates, you had sophists. These were a group of rhetoricians who, at times, would demonstrate the rhetorical skill by proving things that were just factually wrong. For example, most famously, proving that black is white. The color black is the color white. Now, all of those things begin with the same basic idea, which is starting out with a normal view and disagreeing with it. And we're going to practice with definitions. When you do that with definitions, when you reverse a definition, you're going to come up with a wrong definition. And your mind is going to recoil at that. Your mind's going to say, no, that's wrong. Let me do something else. Reversing a definition mechanically is easy. It's probably the easiest thing you're going to do in a college essay because all you have to do is write a wrong definition. But your mind is a logical organ. It's going to try to stop you from doing that. It's going to try to find these other directions. One of those things is, instead of having you reverse a definition, which is a simple enough task, it's going to instead switch over to a categorization. It won't give you the reverse definition. It'll just put a thing into a category. Here's an example. Let's look at the word teacher. Traditional definition: a teacher is someone who gives you information and builds your skills. Reverse definition: a teacher is someone who learns from you. Here's another reverse definition: a teacher is someone who removes information from your mind. Any of those would be fine. A categorization: a teacher is a member of the workforce. So that categorization it's different from the definition, but it doesn't break the original definition. It doesn't challenge the original definition at all. It doesn't go against the definition. It keeps the original definition and then lets you know what group that defined thing is part of. So a categorization is not a reverse definition. What it is, it's your brain's attempt to desperately avoid saying something that it knows to be illogical. Here's the thing. Once you say something that is wrong, then in order to show that that wrong statement has some sort of a deeper underlying truth, you're going to have to be clever. And when you're forced to be clever, when you have no choice to be clever, your essay is going to just dominate over the other people who are trying to claim that they're clever. You're going to be showing cleverness, right? Your competitors are going to be saying, "I'm really, really clever and smart, trust me." Using an actual reverse definition or a reversal of any traditional idea, and then showing why that reversal is in some deeper way true, is going to make your essay unforgettable.